This session is for a master's degree program. This is not a real session. It is only a practice session. Good evening, Ms. Smith. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm
You're-
alright.
All right, okay. Well, when you called, you said that you're struggling with some depression with your family and employment and stuff. Can you tell me a little bit more about what's going on with that?
Well, I've been struggling finding a job. I went to a college near the Tyler area and got a degree in journalism, but it's been kind of rough since the newspaper, sales have been down. It's hard to find a job. I've been having to live in a lower income kind of home that I'm not used to living in. When I was raised as a kid, I had nicer things, and it's been tough to deal with the other side of that, and it's been hard on me. So.
Okay, it sounds like you've been going through a really hard time. Am I understanding you correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so have you reached out to your family and asked for some help, or?
I don't think they fully understand what I'm going through. They seem to think that I'm just being lazy when it comes to trying to find a job, but it's not really the case. There's nothing out there, and I just feel like I have no one to talk to, and yeah, it's been rough.
Okay, so, and you don't feel like you can talk to your family? Do you see your family? Do they visit you?
They never visit me. I mean, there's not really a place to stay. Sometimes I'll see them, but it's just not the same.
Okay, so is it that you go up there to see them, or is it that they come down and visit you?
I mean, I'll go visit them, but it's just, I don't think they fully understand my situation.
Okay.
And get that I actually I'm trying to find a good, stable job, but it's not as easy as it seems.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you say is that you feel like your parents don't really comprehend what it is that you're going through, because are they like highly educated people and have had stable jobs when you were growing up?
Yes.
Okay, so what kind of work do your parents do?
Well, my mom, I think she went into like the nursing field and stuff like that. And so did my dad. He's a doctor. And it's just kind of hard to live up to their expectations. I always wanted to go into journalism. That's just something I've had a passion for, and it's hard to see that you can't always be successful with what you want to be successful in. So it's been kind of rough to live up to their expectations.
Okay. Well, I can understand how that can be a little bit difficult for you. So, are you able to get like even a job, like substitute teaching, or,
I've thought about it, but it's just mainly I've been trying to find careers that go down my path. And it just means that if I can't, then I'm just going to have to go back to school and try and find something else. But that just means more money I'll have to spend, which I don't have that money. And so it's been kind of depressing having to kind of take care of myself with the little money I have, and which I'm not used to. I'm not used to like living on my own without anything. And so it's been a rough ride trying to find, a career and something that I'm actually passionate for and make money in.
Okay. So you mentioned, possibly having to go back to school and maybe extend your education just a little bit more. So let's visit that, because, some school districts actually like hire people that have degrees, and there are programs for in the region area. I think the area here is actually Regions 8, and you could go through them to cross over and get your teaching certification until you're able to, maybe find something that would allow you to get into the journalism field. Have you considered that?
No, I haven't really thought about that, but that could be something I could go into maybe that could help me out until I find, a job that I really want. Yeah, that's something I could look into.
Okay. So one thing I have heard a lot is that having your parents' approval is very important for you. Do you feel like that it's more the the social status that you're currently in opposed to what you grew up in, or do you feel it's the fact that you're just not able to, your parents are ashamed of you're living and things like that?
Yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed to talk to them about where I'm at because I don't want to show them that I was unsuccessful and admit to that. And so it's just been kind of hard. Like, I'm scared to ask for their help, and I don't want to show that I was unsuccessful, and yeah, that's kind of been my problem.
Okay, so you're is it because you're afraid that they will say no, or that they will?
I just feel like they'll think of me, they'll lower their, like, how they feel of me, if that makes sense. Like, I made straight A's in high school and all that, and then when I showed them that I failed at what I was trying to succeed at, it just feels like they'll probably think lower of me.
So do you feel like you've failed?
In a way, yes, because I haven't, found a job in my career path, and it's kind of a terrible situation for me, especially since I've never been through something like this, and I'm scared to ask for help without them thinking badly of me.
Okay. So your parents' perspective and how they view you is very important as well. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. So what kind of work are you doing now to kind of help make the ends meet?
Well, I mean, I've been doing some side jobs. I worked at, a local fast food place for a little bit just to kind of make some money while I was doing my studies. And then now that it's over and I'm trying to find a full-time job, it's been a little bit more rough. I've been having to do, like, just quick things like babysitting, stuff like that. And I'm looking into finding, like, a part-time job that I can keep for a while until I can find a good full-time job that's stable, but it's still kind of rough.
Okay. So, excuse me. If I'm understanding you correctly, that you're having problems getting any type of employment other than maybe some babysitting jobs or something like that. Whenever you go in for an interview, what happens? Because you're highly educated.
They're not looking for anyone. It's no one's hiring in the journalism fields lately because there's online is becoming more prominent. Newspapers are kind of dying.
Right.
And since that's kind of the field I want to go into, it's harder to find a job because it's not as successful as it used to be before.
Okay.
When I was interested in it, and so it's been hard to find a good job that is actually hiring.
Okay. So we talked about possibly, calling the Region 8 area I think it's in Kilgore. Of course, you can Google it. Young people are really good at that, and find out what that would take. Would that be something that you would be interested in, is possibly going in and teaching and maybe be able to teach journalism?
Yeah, definitely. I know quite a few people who have taught journalism, and so I think that could be a good job I could go into, even though it's not my ideal thing, but definitely, until I actually find something better that could keep me well taken care of. Yeah.
Okay, help pay the bills anyway? Okay, and maybe get you in a little nicer place to live that mom and dad would be proud of. Okay, very good. So, how often do you feel depressed? Do you feel depressed all the time because of this situation, or do you ever feel happy, or do you just kind of want to stay in bed all day?
It's usually when I'm just home alone, I kind of start feeling depressed. If I go out with my friends, they kind of take my mind off of it. But, when I'm like home and I just see, kind of the not very nice place I live in, and, I have kind of sketchy neighbors in a sketchy neighborhood, it just kind of, hits me hard, and I just kind of, get really sad about it. And
Do you find yourself crying and
sometimes, yeah, I mean, it's just hard to think about, like, how did I get in this situation when I thought I was doing so well. So I try to go out with friends to kind of take my mind off of it, but it's
still hard?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, one thing that I would like for you to do before our next session is I'd like for you to kind of start keeping a journal and writing down some of the things that kind of trigger your depression. So, if it's like seeing somebody drive a car that your parents drive, or, seeing a doctor or a nurse, just kind of journal, so that way we can kind of figure out what some of your triggers are, so that we can determine if it is a total mental health depression, where I might have to refer you out to somebody so that you can get medicated, or if it's just a situational depression, because sometimes some people, their situation makes them sad and depressed. So we want to make sure that we're on the right track, okay? And so before I see you next week, I want you to do some journaling and try to reach out to your folks. They may be a little more receptive than maybe you think they are, okay? And, if you're interested in maybe seeking out teaching until, you get your big hit and get that job at that one big newspaper, or, the TV station as a journalist, so that, contact Reach and 8 and be ready to tell and be ready to talk about that. Okay?
Okay.
Have I answered all of your questions today, Ms. Smith?
I think you have.
All right.
I really appreciate it.
How are you feeling now after we visited?
I feel better that I kind of got it off my chest. And
Okay.
I just know that there's someone I can actually talk to.
Absolutely.
Who understands my problems.
Okay. Great. Well, we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.